This is Keep On Cookin', a podcast dedicated to plant-based cookbooks, created, produced, and hosted by a cookbook lover for cookbook lovers. This podcast features interviews with the authors themselves, giving you a behind-the-scenes look at the stories behind the recipes. Here to bring you your weekly dose of culinary inspiration. So grab a cookbook and keep on cooking. I'm Dustin Harder, and this is Keep On Cooking. Hello and welcome to Keep On Cooking, the only podcast dedicated to plant-based cookbooks. I'm your host, Dustin Harder, and I'm also a woman on the verge of a nervous breakthrough. I hope the breakthrough is coming. Listen, a little bit of housekeeping and slash groveling before we get the party started here. I'm so glad you could join us today, wherever you are listening. If you can hit subscribe or follow on this podcast, that would be divine. Additionally, if you are feeling so inclined and you are enjoying this podcast, I'm begging. I'm going to do it. I'm begging. Grovel. I'm begging you to leave us a review. It helps so much, and the reviews have been a little still in the last few months. And I would love to start seeing this podcast expand and grow and the community to grow so we can keep the good word about plant-based cookbooks out there, sharing all these different plant-based cookbooks that are coming, ones from the past, ones coming in the future. I love cookbooks. I love sharing it all with you. And if you're enjoying the podcast, I would love to hear about it. So if you're able to, please leave a review. It's very helpful. Now, it's just me this week. So I'm going to chat through the book How It All Began by Tanya Barnard and Sarah Kramer. But before I get to that, what's coming up? Well, Miyoko Schinner has finally done it, my friends. Some of you may have her original book, Artisan Vegan Cheese, that came out in 2012. But Miyoko Schinner has finally answered the call of her fans and revamped the cheese recipe offerings and then some. Her new book, The Vegan Creamery, Plant-Based Cheese, Milk, Ice Cream, and More is coming. You can pre-order it now, and it will be released September 16th this year, 2025. A delectable collection of over 70 plant-based recipes for vegan butters, creams, cheeses, desserts, and more from the award-winning chef and best-selling author of Artisan Vegan Cheese. Imagine enjoying a batch of fresh strawberry ice cream on a hot summer day. It tastes just as delicious as the beloved classic, but at its creamy core, it's actually plant-based. Now you can make all the dairy products you love, milks, creams, cheeses, savory spreads, and rich desserts with nuts, seeds, and other plant-based ingredients instead of animal products. This book encourages people to dig deeper into what various plant milks can do. You'll learn to use the age-old concepts of culturing to make French-style soft truffle cheese. Ooh, yes, please. Perfect on a charcuterie board, and fermenting plant-based milks to create Reggie goat cheese, a tangy spread that is delicious atop a pizza. You'll use atypical plant-based ingredients like watermelon seed milk to make mozzarella and mung beans to make halloumi. Alongside these delectable dairy-free cheese creations, you'll learn to make pumpkin seed oat yogurt to serve with a bowl of fresh fruit, or salted maple chocolate chip cookie ice cream to satisfy your cravings for a rich dessert. The Vegan Creamery is the cookbook to guide you on your plant-based journey. So if you are a Miyoko stan, pre-order this now so you have your hands on it on September 16th. Again, the name of that book is The Vegan Creamery, Plant-Based Cheese, Milk, and Ice Cream, and More. Because obviously when you go look up Miyoko Schinner, you're going to find a bunch of other books by her. We've had her on the podcast twice to talk about one of my absolute favorite books, The Homemade Vegan Pantry. It was one of the first episodes, and she came back to talk about her last book. I believe it's called The Meat Cookbook. Hold on, I have it on the shelf above me. It is called The Vegan Meat Cookbook, and she will be back on to talk about this Vegan Creamery book as well. So that will be a nice visit. We'll get to talk to her and peel through that book when it's available. Now, no reason not to know something. When and where did nut milks originate? All that talk looking at the Vegan Creamery book. And then recently we had Bailey Ruskis on talking about her new book, Breaking Up with Dairy. I was curious, When and where did nut milks originate? So, nut based milks have been around for centuries, with origins dating back to at least the medieval period. Almond milk, one of the most well documented nut milks, was popular in the Middle Ages, 5th through the 15th century, particularly in the Islamic world, Europe, and China. It was widely used as a dairy substitute during fasting periods in Christian traditions and in Middle Eastern cuisines. Some key historical points: 13th through the 14th century, almond milk appears in European cookbooks such as Le Viandier in France. How do you like my French? Was that great? Islamic Golden Age, 8th to the 14th century. Almond and other nut based milks were common in Persian and Arab cooking. Ancient China, variants of plant based milks, including almond milk, were used, and the modern era. Commercial production of nut milks, especially almond and cashew milk, expanded significantly in the 21st century due to the rising demand for dairy alternatives. I'm going to argue that last fact. I don't think cashew is one of the most popular ones. I think it's almond and soy milk, if you ask me. Maybe I'm wrong. Cashew milk too. I always see that. That's never. It's funny actually. When we had Bailey on and we were talking about breaking up with dairy, she says cashew milk is her favorite. I can understand why. Cashew milk is fabulous. It's great. I love cashews for making any creamy sort of base that I need. So I get it as milk, but it's never like if I'm in the store buying non-dairy milks, I'm not like, ooh, cashew milk, but making it from scratch, I definitely understand. But anyways, that's a little tidbit on nut-based or non-dairy milks for you. Or was the question, it was specific nut milks, right? Yeah. Oh, well, that's why it didn't say soy then. So I guess, yeah, almond and cashew are probably at the top of that list, I would imagine. That makes sense. Well, listen, we're here to talk about how it all began. It was first published in 1999. Some of you may have this book. It's been sitting on your shelf or you use it every day, one of those. It's an OG. It's in the OG category. How It All Began has become a Bible for vegan cooks, both diehard and newly converted. Its basic introduction to the tenets of vegan living and eating, combined with Sarah Kramer, combined with Sarah Kramer's and Tanya Barnard's winning charm. I don't know what threw me off there. I saw Kramer's like plural, and I was like, wait, what? Anyways, the book is loaded with Sarah and Tanya's winning charm, which you can see it on the cover. It radiates. They're just so excited to share these vegan essentials with you, which also made it an essential cookbook for anyone considering eschewing animal products from their diet. It won VegNews Veggie Award for Best Cookbook twice, has been reprinted 14 times, and spawned several successful sequels, including The Garden of Vegan, La Dolce Vegan, and it says last year's Vegan A Go Go, but I'm telling you, where I pulled this information is very 2010. So I'm reading these, even where it says, like when it says it won VegNews Veggie Award for Best Cookbook twice, it did in 2000, I think 3 and 2004 maybe. So that was like at a time when VegNews, like, that award was a big deal. So that's really cool that it took it twice. And in the 10 years since How It All Began was published, veganism has come out of the closet. Again, this bio is old. This bio is in like 2010 for this book. So it says veganism is now considered a legitimate diet and lifestyle, not only for those wishing to improve their health, but also for those who care deeply about the welfare of animals. So I'm reading the description for this book from the 10th anniversary edition. So they released it in 1999, and then in 2009 they released the 10th anniversary edition, which is really cool. And I do have one of my first vegan cookbooks I got was by Sarah Kramer. It's that Vegan A Go Go one. I'll be so honest, I haven't used it, but I loved it. It's the size of a little tiny, I don't want to say 4x6. That's too big. I want to say like 4x4 almost, or maybe 4x5. Like, it is actually a little pocketbook called Vegan A Go Go. Now, here's why I haven't used it. When I got it originally, I think I bought it 15 years ago. And then actually somebody on the road when we were filming the Vegan Roadie gifted it to me as well. So I had a couple copies at one point. But when I got it, I thought, since it was the size that it was, I really thought it was like a travel, like it was going to help you like be able to make food, like no matter your situation. If you're in a hotel room, if you're like living in a van, even like whatever it is, it was sort of like, I thought it was going to be like a minimalist cookbook for being on the go. But it's more of like a little handbook that sort of gives you tips and tricks on things you can do to travel with ease as a vegan, which is great. I'll take that. But then the recipes in it are still, I don't want to say involved, but they are things that like you need an actual kitchen for and you need actual cookware for, which is fine. It just wasn't necessarily what I expected. I really thought it was going to be more of like a, here's this handbook to take with you on the road and show you how to make, a grilled cheese in your hotel with just an iron and some aluminum foil, which I can show you how to do. It's on an episode of the Vegan Roadie. But it's not that. It's more of a like, and it offers like, it'll be like, oh, and when you're going to someone's house on the road, you could make this lasagna to take it with you. And I'm like, but where am I making it if I'm on the road? So anyways, it's a bit of a, the idea of the book is really great to me, Vegan A Go-Go, but when I actually got it in my hands, it was a little confusing, but we're here to, I think I will cover that book because maybe I'll learn more about it when I do that too. And we can take a look at it together and kind of see how we're feeling about it, because it does offer some great advice for traveling. So it is a hit in some instances. I think just for me, I don't want to say it was a miss. I was just surprised at like lengthy recipes in it. But anyways, we're talking about how it all began. And as I said, it won Cookbook of the Year twice with VegNews Veggie Award. And it was first published in 1999. And now, here we are, 26 years later. They had the 10th anniversary edition. In the 10th anniversary edition in 2009, they included some new color photos and new recipes and a new introduction from Sarah's in here. And so it's really cool that they were able to come out with the 10th anniversary edition. I always love that when a book's been around that long. And they get to do another, they get to update it a bit. So a bit more about the authors. Some of you may be very, very familiar with Sarah Kramer, who seems to have kept up on online appearance somewhat. And you can find her website at govegan.net. I don't have much on Tanya Barnard other than that. The last bio in the book says she lives in Kelowna, 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 BC, and her address is, just kidding, I don't have her address, but that's all I have is sort of where she was based at the time this 10th anniversary edition came out. I couldn't find much else online about her, but Sarah's, I've got some more on Sarah, though again, this bio is a little outdated because it's coming from around the 2010 times. It says, Sarah Kramer is a vegan cookbook superstar. Very, very true. Combining her love of food and her love of animals into homemade cookbook zine to give her friends and family as Christmas presents. Reaction to the zine was so overwhelming that she realized that she was on to something special, and her aspirations to do something with her life made a difference, and the world soon became a reality. This little tiny zine grew into this best-selling cookbook, How It All Began, which it says at this point had sold over 150,000 copies. That's so beautiful. And it was followed by the books we mentioned, Garden of Vegan, La Dolce Vegan, and Vegan A Go-Go, and awarded those 2003, 2004 Veggie News Best Veg Cookbook. Sarah was also awarded VegNews Veggie Award for Favorite Cookbook Author in 2005. Sarah is known for her sassy vintage style and layman's approach to veganism and has been joyfully spreading the vegan gospel to anyone who will listen. Sarah believes that veganism is not just about food, but is a positive, compassionate lifestyle choice. She believes the choices we make, however small, from the food that we eat to the shoes that we choose to buy, have a direct impact on how the world turns. Never one to bash people over the head with an aggressive message. She believes that it only takes one tiny spark to start a fire, and she has a pack of matches and is ready to burn. So go visit govegan.net to see more of what Sarah is up to these days. I'm going to take a sip of coffee really quick before we get into this book because we're going to do it. Okay, caffeinated. Here we go. How It All Began, irresistible recipes for an animal-free diet. So we're starting things out in here with a new introduction from Sarah, acknowledgments, and then we're talking right away about alternatives and substitutions. They also give a little bit, I will say, they give a talk. Tanya and Sarah both talk about their journey to veganism. So they're really giving you some insights on how they got here and how they, go about being vegan and the things that matter most to them. And it's always nice to see that from the authors. And we start things out with alternatives and substitutions. So we're looking at different ingredients, basically butter, cheese, eggs, and all of these things have expanded and grown, right? But what I love about looking at a book like this, one of the OGs, is that we're looking at things like egg replacers. We're looking at flax for the egg replacer. We're looking at banana as an egg replacer. We're looking at even applesauce as an egg replacer. But then it also has one of the OGs in here, energy egg replacer, which is something I used in bakeries even, 6 years ago when I was in bakeries in New York. So like energy egg replacer has stuck around, my friends. And I actually use Bob's Red Mill egg replacer these days quite often. I do. This takes us into, after we look at ingredients and all of those good things and alternatives and substitutions, we are getting into vegan milks and beverages. We have a wide variety in here. So we got fresh maple, vanilla, soy milk, and we're doing this straight from scratch. So that's the cool thing about these OG books too, is they really are showing you different things to do from scratch. They're using dried soybeans here. We have creamy coconut milk, easy breezy rice milk, almond milk, oat milk, smoothies and shakes. Anything goes. Very berry shake, banana date shake, smoothies, more shakes, more smoothies, energy shake, fresh and fruity energy smoothie. Banini. Let's see what that is. Tahini not only enhances the creamy masterpiece with a unique flavor, but adds nutritional element too. So it's soy milk, bananas, tahini sweetener, and vanilla extract. I bet that's delicious. There's this place called Goldie's in Philadelphia that is tahini milkshakes, and it is so good. They're giving us ways to make some teas from scratch in here. Love this. So this book, I will say, everybody, it's one of those ones where if the recipes are short, it's putting several of them on one page. So we've got looks like 6 teas on one page. There's a earth herbal sun tea, ginger tea, cure all ginger tea, spiced chai tea, quick Thai tea for 2, quick Thai iced tea. Oh, David will love that, the quick Thai iced tea. Savory miso drinks. She says this is delicious and nutritious alternative to coffee or as a pick-me-up if you're feeling spent. Miso, which you can find in most grocery stores, or in health food stores. Oh, bless. Miso, if you've been listening to this podcast, it's always like my thing. I'm like, do they have miso or not at the grocery store? If they don't, then it's not worth going into. Miso is everything. It's a rich in both vitamin A and B12. And so basically it's miso broth. It's miso and water. And I'm all here for that. I love it. We got an apple cider health drink. We got an eggless eggnog, sodas with a fresh fruit spritzer and a homemade ginger ale. We got juices here with an apple carrot ginger juice, pear apple grape juice, cherry juice, homemade vegetable juice. I mean, just come on. All right, now we're getting into vegan breakfast. So again, when we're looking at these OG books, coffee break. When we're looking at these OG books, one of the things I love about it is that, like, I'm sitting here looking at vegan cookbooks all the time. I'm looking at vegan cookbooks that came out, this year, and they're it's all a variation of these original cookbooks. So we're looking at things like vegan breakfast here. There's a vegetable tofu scramble, green scrambled tofu, scrambled eggless eggs, brown rice breakfast, hearty 3-grain porridge, racy raisin rice pudding, curried pan-fried potatoes, heavenly hash browns, classic pancakes. My gosh, you guys. And listen, I'm looking at a 2-page spread right now that has an ingredient list. There's 4 recipes on this 2-page spread, and the most ingredients I can see is 7 ingredients in one recipe. I mean, this cookbook is stellar. It really is just a very approachable cookbook for anyone, no matter where they're at on their cooking path. And if you're somebody who's been cooking for a long time and you're like, I just want like an outline and I want to take it easy, this is for you, honeys. This is it. We got Monday. Oh, I skipped over what the pancakes are. So we got the hash browns in here, but then we have classic pancakes, which I'm going to have to try, because if you follow that Keep On Cooking Instagram or my Instagram at all, I love a pancake, and I love going through these books and trying different pancakes, which is hard because right now the winning pancake is the fluffy pancakes from Issa Chandra's Issa Does It. It took me a while to find that winning pancake, but I'm telling you, so far, that is the one. So I would love to try some of these. We got classic pancakes, basic buckwheat pancakes, brainless banana pancakes. We got Monday morning oatmeal pancakes, apple cinnamon oatmeal pancakes. And then we get into French toast, fabulous French toast. 1 and 2, it says. I wonder what our differences are here. It looks like, I don't know what the difference is. Oh, yeast free. Okay. So in the first one, we're using a little bit of nutritional yeast. Now, I have seen this before, the nutritional yeast in the French toast, and it gives it sort, I don't want to say an eggy pop, but there is like a nutty, rich, like savory flavor that comes with nutritional yeast. And when I think you put it in this context with French toast and you mix it with the sweet, you're getting those French toasty vibes. So I really like that it's on there. And then the fabulous French toast too is void of the nutritional yeast. So they said if you have an issue with yeast, you can go yeast free. But you know what it does have, which it looks like the psyllium husk takes the place of the nutritional yeast, but the psyllium husk is not in the first French toast. Sorry, I'm kind of rambling on about this French toast, but the psyllium husk is such a beautiful ingredient, and I was introduced to it by my dearest friend, Ashley Madden, who you know has been on the podcast twice with her cookbooks, and she did the photos for my last 2 books. Well, my last 2 solo books. She's fabulous, but she got me into psyllium husk. It's great for fiber. It's great as an egg substitute. When I first bought a bag of it to cook something from her book, I was like, gosh, I'm never going to use this. I actually use it as a fiber supplement now. I take it fairly regularly, just a little bit of it mixed into like my morning whatever. Put a little bit in a smoothie or whatever, but I love it. Psyllium husk. I love it. I love it. I love it. And a little bit goes a long way. So I've had a bag that I've had for quite some time. We got some granola recipes in here, muffins. We got faux eggs Benny, light apple bran muffins. Make it ya go bran muffin. She said this is the perfect way to get the necessary fiber the body needs. So it's a muffin full of that fiber, baby. So that's the breakfast chapter. I got to tell you, I loved it because it really is just hitting all the marks. It's not getting wild and crazy, but it is giving you some variations in there. So it really is, the fundamentals of great vegan breakfast. Next is vegan soups and stews. I love to. The last chapter was something like vegan breakfast. And now it says vegan soups and stews, as if that was not indicated by the title, How It All Began. The chapter titles also include the word vegan. We've got a rustic tomato lentil soup. Ooh! I put a tomato and red lentil soup on the Keep On Cooking blog maybe 4 months ago. It is one of my favorite soups. I love red lentils so much. And this combination of red lentils and tomatoes is yum, yum, yum. And this one's got some great stuff in it. It's got, onions, carrots, all that good stuff, celery. But then we got the tomatoes and and they're going straight. It doesn't say it has to be red lentils. So this is canned lentils, which is usually the brown lentils. And then it's got pasta in it as well. So that's a fun soup. Mighty miso soup, hitting it with that miso again. Sweet potato squash and apple soup. Ginger peanut soup. That's the one for me. Spicy creamy tomato soup. Hearty winter potato soup. Auntie Bonnie's curried apple soup. Simply Lovely carrot soup. Tortilla chip soup. Butternut tomato soup. Garden vegetable borscht. Mama Sarah's matzo ball soup. Get into that matzo ball. Chive butternut soup. Chana's spring garden soup, and then Chana's winter spicy soup, mushroom barley stew, Auntie Bonnie's lively lentil stew. Let's see if that last Auntie Bonnie recipe tells us a little bit about my Aunt Bonnie can make wicked soup of almost any ingredient. Well, there we go. Wicked smart, wicked smart. We got a garden medley vegetable stew, Auntie Bonnie's lively lentil stew, mushroom barley stew. Love all of that. Next is, you guessed it, we're putting it at the top of the chapter, vegan salads and dressings. So Tanya's garden medley, garden salad essentially. Jana's garden kitchen salad. We've seen that name a couple times here. Let's see what it says. Our friend Jana from Earth's Herbal Products is an amazing woman. Not only does she have vast knowledge of herbs and plants and their medical qualities, she also is a whiz in the kitchen. I love that. Now listen, everybody listening, if you have a recommendation for a home apothecary book, because I want to get one. I'm very curious about home remedies and home apothecary books. and natural remedies. And I go online to look at all the apothecary books and I get very overwhelmed. So if anyone is currently using one or has a recommendation, please slip into my DMs. I'm at Dustin Harder on Instagram. Of course, you can email me at dustinjharder@gmail.com. Just hit me up. Talk to me. We got a Greek salad in here, a vegetable pasta salad, faux chicken salad. We're using tempeh for the chicken. See, that's the interesting thing here. This is at a time, babies, we didn't have that tofurkey roasted chicken, which is so good, by the way. We didn't have that in 2009. What we did have, though, was tempeh. So we're using some tempeh in here for the chicken. We got a faux tuna salad that's using tofu, and they're actually using the double freeze technique where you freeze it and thaw it. Which gives it a chewy, meaty texture. So that's interesting. Faux egg salad with tofu, exquisite rice salad, cousin Natasha's rice and bean salad. Come on, cousin Natasha. It says, this is my cousin's potluck trademark. I love a potluck trademark. That dish the whole family's waiting for, you know. It says, our family loves to get together for potlucks. We eat and eat and eat until we bust. My favorite things are food, family, friends, and fun. Love that. Mom's apple coleslaw salad. That's another one in here. Sesame noodle salad. Tenacious tabbouleh, Aunt Bonnie's potato cucumber salad. I'm feeling good about any recipe from Aunt Bonnie. Thank you, Aunt Bonnie. S&M spicy salad. It says my cousin Stacy and his partner Molly passed this recipe on to me. This salad rocks. Perfect potato salad, amazing ambrosia salad. I wonder what they use. Isn't there like a? Oh yeah, okay. Isn't there like usually like whipped cream in that, right? It says they're using a half cup of soft tofu pureed in this. So that's probably giving that nice fluffy, light, creamy texture. We got dressings in here. So a pretty and pink chive vinegar, roasted garlic dressing, balsamic maple dressing, green goddess dressing, creamy Italian dressing, fabulous French dressing, Thousand Island dressing, sweet ginger dressing, Caesar salad dressing, Sarah's quiche and easy sesame dressing. Quick. I was like, well, how's she putting a quiche in a dressing? It's Sarah's quick and easy sesame dressing, Jana's famous herb dressing, nice and spicy avocado dressing. And that's the dressing section. And I love that. It's got the only thing I'm not seeing, and I am shocked by this, is I am not seeing a ranch dressing. I just think that's kind of wild in this book. I thought this book would have it for sure, but man, that's a lot of good stuff. Sauces are next. Well, of course, vegan sauces and spreads, as the chapter indicates. We got mighty miso gravy, easy breezy cheesy sauce, perfect pesto, zesty tomato pesto, traditional tomato sauce, super easy tomato sauce, saucy creamy sauce, ginger peanut sauce, spicy garlic toss for noodles, festive cranberry sauce. Spreads is next here. We got easy garlic spread. I mean, I'm talking, we're not even looking at things in here like faux butters or vegan butters. I guess I shouldn't say faux butters. Vegan butters. We're looking at, like, in this easy garlic spread, I thought for sure it was going to be a butter based. It's olive oil and fancy garlic spread. We have a fancy garlic spread and an easy garlic spread. So the difference here is easy garlic spread is a half cup oil, garlic, onion, and salt. Fancy garlic spread is onion, garlic, olive oil, vinegar, balsamic vinegar, fresh thyme, salt, and pepper. How fancy. We have an easy veggie butter. Ooh, it's made with tofu, flax oil, pinch of salt, dash of turmeric. I mean, that's some creative stuff to be thinking of back then. Stephanie's nummy yummy veggie spread, elegant cream cheese. Oh, I do not eat cream cheese unless it's elegant, so I'm glad that it's elegant. Garlic dill cream cheese, green onion cream cheese, tofu-fruity cream cheese. So we're putting a half cup of fruit in the cream cheese base, strawberries, blueberries, etc. It says. Sunflower seed avocado spread, sunseed sandwich spread, zesty cheese spread, oy vey, mock chopped liver. All right. Well, that's cute. That's a fun little collection of sauces and spreads. I really love the spreads in here, actually, because I think we've, as a society, we've leaned on convenience. So, what's an example out there? Like bitchin sauce. Isn't that a vegan sauce that's on the market? Like, we all love convenience, so we lean on that, and I get that. I totally understand that. You know, David and I definitely do that too. Even though I'm cooking all the time, we still are like, ooh, that thing looks good, and it's so easy. Just grab it. But I love seeing all these options for different spreads and cheeses that you can put on a charcuterie board and just, you know, have a good time with your friends and family. Next is vegan side dishes. We got a holy moly hummus, a gorgeous guacamole. These names are just really getting to me. Like, I love it. Because it feels very like, you know, like every recipe's got to have a little quirky name in here. Fresh tomato salsa, that's not too quirky. Ben's black bean salsa, sweet ginger black bean salsa, spinach and artichoke dip, JB sweet dill carrots, Jana's honey lemon carrots. Are we using honey is the question. Maple syrup. This side dish is lovely complement to Jana's healthy rice. So we're using maple syrup for the sweetener. Roasted garlic potatoes, mashed garlic potatoes with kale, Tanya sweet mash, Dijon scallop potatoes, vegetable medley, kugel, sweet potato and apple kugel, rustic roasted veggies, vegetable rice pilaf, voracious vegan pate, brilliant baked beans, Larry's refried beans. So lots of side dishes there. Sounds like a great summer picnic extravaganza, cookout extravaganza there with all those delicious side dishes. And now we're looking at vegan entrees. Ooh. It's just me, so there's no break here when I want to take a sip of my beverage. Or no one to cover for me, you know, to keep talking when I take a sip of that bevy. Okay, so we got in vegan entrees, cilantro, ginger tempeh toss. Oh, and there's a fun little indicator on here that says new. So whenever they added a new recipe because of the 10th anniversary edition, they put a little icon that says new. So that's cute. That's nice. Linda's ginger chicken. What are we using for chicken? Oh, we're making some seitan from scratch to make that chicken. Sarah's delicious chili. Love me some chili. I've been working on a Wendy's chili copycat. Let me tell you why. I was listening to the podcast My Favorite Murder. If you're not familiar with it, it's true crime podcast, true crime comedy podcast. They're not making fun of murder. But it's Karen and Georgia. They're funny and they are talking about murder. But anyways, they did the Wendy and they do other various stories like this one where they talked about the woman who found the thumb in her Wendy's chili, if y'all remember that. And as I was listening to it, I was like, I remembered Wendy's chili and I was like, there was something so craveable about it. Like I remember having it and then being like it has a very nostalgic place for me where I'm like, ooh, not only does that sound good, but it sounds like comforting and satiating. So I started looking up different recipes for it. And the one thing I could find across the board for it that was different than any other chili recipe I'd ever seen is that it does have kidney beans, but it also has pinto beans. So I made a variation of it last week and I actually really loved it. So perhaps we'll post that soon. We've got Tanya's Asian creation. She said, when I was living in Japan, I discovered the art of subtlety in cooking. I used my imagination and came up with masterpieces like this one using only salt and pepper as the spices. I had a hard time in Japan trying to adhere to my vegan lifestyle, but I stuck to my guns and I'm a better vegan warrior for it now. Enjoy this one. If you find it's a little too hot, you can use a little less pepper next time. My feelings won't be hurt, says Tanya. Rice paper veggie wraps we have here and nori sushi rolls. Sweet polenta pie. I love me some polenta. This says, this mouthwatering dish is just one example of how satisfying and masterful blend of roasted vegetables over atop a colorful bed of polenta can be. It will delight and excite your taste buds. I don't know about y'all, but David and I are big fans of polenta these days, so I hope you're getting it into it too. I do not love the title of this next one. Burnin' Butt Burritos. So make it your own risk, I guess. It says a masterpiece. A tasty and nutritious wrap. Beans and rice make a complementary protein when combined for variety and your favorite vegetables to this. Add your favorite vegetables to the saucepan. I really don't like the title of this though. Burnin' butt burritos. That's just making me think lots of not good things. It says in here for the cheese option, first of all, it says optional. It says soy cheese optional. And I'm like, thank God you put optional because that cheese back in 1999 is garbage, mama. garbage. If you've been listening to the podcast, you've heard this story, but I went vegan in 2009. So right when this book actually came out, I'm surprised this isn't the first book I ever picked up. I actually just bought a used copy of it because I knew it existed and I was like, we should cover it on the podcast. But in 2009, I went vegan, and I went vegan after I read the book Skinny Bastard, which is air quotes here, male version of the book Skinny Bitch. But I read it, I laughed, I cried. It made sense to me. It educated me. So I had already been kind of going vegan, but after I read that, I went vegan. And my biggest thing was they talked about vegan cheese in the book, and you can find it, and it's delicious. So I went on the search. I was in New York, and I lived in Manhattan, and I looked all over the city, all the food stores I could find. Couldn't find it anywhere. Finally, made my way out to a health store in Brooklyn where they had Day of Cheese. And I got home and I made cheese enchiladas with it. And when I tell you it was the most disgusting thing I ever tasted, I'm not even exaggerating in the slightest. The whole pan went in the trash, and I was just like, then I can't be vegan. I was like, this is dumb. This won't work. And then I was like, no, stick to your guns. And it's actually when I started realizing what great flavor food has and that cheese hides from everyone. So I started making pizzas without cheese. I started making enchiladas with potatoes and beans and spinach. Like I started actually using real foods instead of cheese, vegan cheese, or any cheese for that matter. And I was like, wow, we're really covering up like the dynamic taste of like actual vegetables with like gooey, terrible for us cheese. This is wild. So it was actually kind of a big favor when it happened. Now, don't get me wrong. I love vegan cheese. I love making my own vegan cheeses. I love vegan cheese sauces. I love vegan macaroni and cheese. I still actually do put vegan cheese on pizza, but I've got like a way that I do it that I love. If you're wondering, I'll tell you. So now I do use the Day of Cheese. First of all, the key to that is like sparingly. Use it sparingly, right? And the flavor, texture, all of that, meltability, it has all gotten wildly better over the last 16 years since I tried it. So it's all been baby steps and figuring it out, right? But I also use, like, if I do it on pizza, I'll make my saucy mozzarella recipe from my book, Epic Vegan. And then I just drizzle a little bit of that on the pizza, and then I sprinkle a little bit of cheese over that. And the two of them kind of like come together to create a beautiful, like bubbly cheese. And if you're ever really trying to get that melt, there's two ways. You can like steam the cheese, where you like put a little water in if you're making a burger and you have cheese on top of it, put a little water in the pan when everything's hot with the cheese on the burger, put a lid on. It's going to steam the cheese. It's going to melt. It's going to be amazing. In the oven, sometimes I've steamed the cheese by putting aluminum foil over like a lasagna or something that helps the cheese melt. But then I also like take the top off and I'll turn the broiler on for a little bit, and that gets it bubbling and brown a little bit. You just want to be careful that you don't overdo anything. You don't burn it if you turn that broiler on. So be cautious. All right, moving past the burnin' butt burritos and soy cheese, we've got artichoke rotini pasta, fragrant garlic parsley pasta, creamy curried veggies, classic spinach lasagna. I wonder if they use soy cheese in that. It says 2 cups soy cheese for topping, optional. Again, ding, ding, ding. Thank you, Sarah and Tanya, for saying optional with the cheese. Mom's bean and cheese casserole, Parmesan crusted veggie sandwiches, and we've got savory shepherd's pie and Big Ben's lentil burgers, and then a picture of Sarah just looking wily with her chef's knife, looking like she is ready to make all the vegan goodness in the world. And then we get to that color photo section in the book that they were talking about for the 10th anniversary, and it really is a nice little spread in here of the photos. Ooh, there's a photo in here for, and I'm sure we get to this in desserts, for peppermint patties that actually seem so easy to make, and they look so good in here. So I'm kind of obsessed with, I want to make the peppermint patties. The problem is, you guys, I make these things from these books. I get so excited about them, but then like, I can't sit here and just eat mountains of peppermint patties. You know what I mean? Oh, it's like the curse I bear here with like, just when I see something, I'm like, yeah, I can make that. I'm gonna make it. And then I do it. And then I'm like, well, now I have 24 peppermint patties and I only have 2 friends. No, I'm just kidding. It has been nice, actually. I share food with neighbors. I do all that, but it is hard when something is so delicious which I love peppermint patties. So making them from scratch and then like with a recipe that seems fairly simple and then having a bunch of them, I just want to eat them all. I'm so proud of it. And then I just want to eat it, but I also want to share it. So it's all good. Anyways, we're moving on. We got spicy black bean burgers, veggie rice burgers, vegan sloppy joes, zucchini delight, potato cheese pierogies. Let's see what the zucchini delight is. It says, hard to believe that anything so easy could be so delicious. Okay, so it's a casserole. It's a casserole that's got not optional is 1.5 cups of soy mozzarella cheese. So you could use any plant-based mozzarella cheese these days. So it's got mozzarella cheese, canned diced tomatoes, 5 cups zucchini chopped, dried oregano, dried basil, red pepper flakes, salt, 1 cup cooked or canned lentils, and 1/2 cup jasmine rice. I love this. I think it's so simple, so straightforward. The ingredients are so simple, so straightforward. And what a great way to use up zucchini in the summer when you got a whole bunch of it. You know how it goes. Potato cheese pierogies in here. We're making the filling and the dough. It all looks very simple and straightforward. Again, so I'm going to tell you, because I told you this earlier when I was looking at teas, but as in the tea you drink. But now I'm in the entree section. I'm looking at a 2-page spread that literally has 4 recipes on it. Do you know how beautiful that is? All of the directions are so straightforward, so simple. Sometimes it's 2 to 3 sentences for directions for something. That zucchini delight I just mentioned, it's 4 sentences to tell you how to make it. Vegan sloppy joes, 2 paragraphs to tell you how to make it. Potato cheese pierogies that has filling and dough. We're looking at 3 short paragraphs that describe how to make these. That is a big talent that Sarah and Tanya harness here with being able to give you all the goods in such a small amount of real estate on the page. That's fantastic. We've got Jana's healthy rice next, isn't it? A recipe on here. Stuffed spaghetti squash. Love me some stuffed spaghetti squash. And now we're getting into the pizza of it all. There's what looks to be a dedicated pizza section here with yeast pizza crust, yeast-free pizza crust, matzo pizza, tofurkey tofu turkey. Oh, so I guess maybe we're not getting. Oh, so we get those pizza bases, but then they give you a gazillion variations here to be able to make different pizzas. Okay, so then we got, this is a tofu turkey. So tofurkey, tofu turkey for your vegan festivities, served topped with gravy, page 83, mashed potatoes, page 98, cranberry sauce, page 87, and assorted steamed veggies. Can you believe this? They're giving you, they've got all the goods you have in here for your holiday spread. Mashed potatoes, cranberry sauce, tofurkey, and gravy. I love it. Anything goes vegetable stir fry. Corey's gaggle of green goo says, my friend Corey is just learning the joys of cooking. This is her latest creation. Try serving it over rice or noodles. So it's tofu, green pepper, celery, mushrooms, coriander or green chutney, coriander chutney or green chutney, and bok choy. Okay, I'm understanding the green of it all now. Corey's easy green chop suey. Come on, Corey, giving us the greens. All right, that takes us into vegan breads and muffins, and also a sip of coffee for me. I've earned it. Okay, so it says in How It All Began kitchen, in the How It All Began kitchen, we don't like to use baking yeast in our bread or biscuit recipes. To make our loaves light and fluffy, we regularly use sourdough starter, baking powder, baking soda, and vinegar. With a delicate combination of these ingredients, we're able to produce results that we are most happy with. We believe unyeasted bread is more holistic and traditional approach to eating. In terms of health benefits, unyeasted bread is easier for the body to digest and also helps keep disorders like candida away. Look at that. It's best if you're able to borrow a bread only bowl. Try to find a beautiful ceramic or wooden bowl as they make the best bread palette. A word of caution, never use metal bowls for making bread, as they may deactivate the rising ability of the bread mixture. I did not know that. An important thing to remember when baking vegan is that you are not using any of the usual things that help to bind your ingredients and make your baked goods fluffy and light. Here are some tips to use to make your baking work. So different things, from sifting, do not overmix, keep it moist, don't expect store-bought goodies. What's that mean? Remember that you're baking vegan now, so your breads, muffins, treats won't look exactly like those from the local bakery, but don't forget, taste is everything. So before you dismiss your creation, take a bite. Now, I'm not okay with that. Of course, this was a different time. I will say there are still times when I walk into like a coffee shop or something, and David and I will be traveling. We walk into a coffee shop and we're like, okay, do they have anything vegan? And we look around, we look in their bakery case, and there is like one sad vegan baked good that looks sad. And I'm just like, that's unacceptable in 2025. I'm sorry. You got to do better. So I understand the caveat she's putting here that, like, these baked goods might not look like your traditional baked goods, but I think we've come a long way. And even though she's saying that, I doubt that in this book. I feel like you're going to make these things and they're probably going to look okay. She was just really giving like a little precursor, but you know, it could be wrong. She's got oatmeal bread. When I say she, I'm referring to both of them, Sarah and Tanya. She's oatmeal bread, soda bread, the art of sourdough bread. She's giving you a sourdough starter in here. They are giving you, I'll start saying they're giving you a sourdough starter and sourdough bread in here. So, like, listen, what's cool about this is there are whole books dedicated to sourdough these days. I mean, just people who are dedicated to the art of sourdough. And that happened in the pandemic. But here she is. She's like, they're like, hey, here's your sourdough starter. Here's what you're doing. They're not making it this big, overdrawn, dramatic thing. There is a book I had on the podcast, and I love them, and I love the book. It's Natasha and Ed Tatton of Bread in Vancouver. I love, love, love them. I'm sure Sarah, I think, lives in Vancouver. I'm sure she's a fan of bread and has been in there. And listen, Ed knows what he's doing. But man, when I tell you, and I got to revisit it, but he's got a vegan sourdough starter in there, and it's pages long on how to work with it. But then there was a quick version, and I just didn't do the quick version. I was trying to do like the whole shebang, and I know I can do it. I got to revisit it and do it, but I got to tell you, it's very appealing when I see this sourdough starter that is 2 ingredients, water and whole wheat flour, and it's 2 paragraphs long on how to do it. So maybe I'll be doing that one. I don't know. All right, then we get into easy biscuits, sourdough biscuits. Love that. You're using the sourdough starter for some biscuits. Fancy biscuits. And what's making them fancy? Here we got some dilled and green onions in there. That's lovely. Sweet biscuits. And then we've got flaxseed crackers, harvest herb bread, sweet potato cornbread, cinnamon raisin bread. Yes, cinnamon raisin bread. Come on. Applesauce bread, gingerbread, zucchini bread, rhubarb bread. Okay. We all know what I'm going to be making from here. Rhubarb bread. Give me a freaking break. It says this summer spectacular is a classic combination of both sweet and tart. Y'all better believe that rhubarb is one of my favorite things. We didn't have a garden when I was growing up. My mom would grow like tomatoes sometimes, but she did have rhubarb that grew every summer. And man, we would go back in that backyard, pick that rhubarb, wash it off, and then just dip the sticks right in some sugar. You were getting that hit of like super sour tart from the rhubarb with that delicious sweet hit of sugar on there. It is outstanding, which is why I love anything that's a strawberry rhubarb pie or this rhubarb bread. Are you kidding me? I'll be making this rhubarb bread. You'll be seeing it up on Keep on Cooking this summer, my babies. I'm gonna do it. Apricot bread, banana bread, spice. Well, I may make my own version of rhubarb bread because I want to post a recipe for y'all, and I don't necessarily have permissions from this book. I think I reached out to Sarah once a long time ago, and I just didn't hear back. But from the looks of it, there's a lot going on in Sarah's life if you go to the website or visit their Instagram. So you can get some insight on that if you would like. We got apricot bread, banana bread, spicy soup muffins. What is that? Warm, spicy, and fragrant. These muffins are sure to please. We got flour, rye flour, usual baking things. Then we got salt, pepper, nutmeg, cinnamon, ginger, allspice, raisins, applesauce, sweetener. I'm not sure why we're spicy soup, meaning like a soup. You put everything into it, maybe, because it doesn't seem like soupy to me, but I hear you. I think that's what it is. Like everything but the sink, or the kitchen sink. Isn't that, kitchen sink muffins? Anyways, maple nut soup muffins. Yeah, I'm really try these delicious muffins as an accompaniment to any of our hearty soup recipes. Okay. So then maybe they're saying these muffins are great accompaniments to their soup recipes, which I'd eat a muffin with the soup. Why not? Give me a cornbread muffin with the soup, honey. Okay, country corn muffins, applesauce muffins, blue banana muffins, raspberry cornmeal muffins. Yes, please. All right, and then we're getting into the goods here with, of course, it's got the word vegan in it. Vegan desserts. Better than butter tarts. What a cute name. So that's your tart base, basically. sticky finger buns. There's a photo of this in here. They look absolutely delicious. Probably one of the longer recipes I've seen in the book, but totally approachable, and laid out very well in directions. Love this. Actually might make these. Peppermint patties. Now, I know I was going on about how easy these look, but listen, we got confectioner's sugar, vegan margarine, peppermint extract, and vegan milk. Vegan margarine and unsweetened semi-sweet chocolate. Come on. That is going to be, and you basically put all the stuff together, the sugar, the margarine, the extract, the vegan milk, let it set, and then cut it out in shapes and, envelop it in the chocolate, the melted chocolate. So yummy. I want to make these like now. Charming chocolate cupcakes, chocolate pecan brownies, maple walnut brownies, chocolate peanut butter cups. What are these gals doing? What are y'all up to giving me all these goods? Y'all, this is 2009. This book won those 2 years of VegNews Veggie Awards with good reason. This book is excellent. Chocolate peanut butter cups, chocolate rice crispy squares, come on, chocolate chip bars, delightful date squares, granola bars, maple nut orbs. Absolutely delicious. A healthy treat requiring only a few ingredients. You'll make these often. For chocolate orbs, add half cup cocoa powder. Now, is an orb like a food thing? Like I don't really know what that means. Is an orb a food thing? Orb in food. I'm looking it up. Yeah, spherical. That's what I was thinking. Like a spherical shape is what I was thinking. But I'm not seeing where it says it says you can either roll the dough into 14 individual orbs. There we go. I was reading the part it says, and then roll them in coconut and chill, or it says, or spread the dough into a square pan and sprinkle with coconut. That's what I was reading, where it was saying press it into a pan. So I was like, well, where's the orb part? But I'm seeing, I missed it. You can totally roll it into little balls, like orbs. Or we got ginger snaps in here, classic chocolate chip cookies, banana oatmeal cookies, spicy oatmeal raisin cookies. Here we go again with a name. Cooties coconut cookies. It says these are best straight from the oven, but they're nice and chewy when cold too. Apricot, I don't know why it's called that. And it doesn't give me any further information on why it's called Cooties coconut cookies. Apricot and almond tea cookies. I will say that's what I am a little wishful for in this. The headers on the recipes are incredibly brief. They're one sentence usually. And this day and age, the headers are kind of what make your cookbook, because the header is really giving you sort of that presence of the author, where an author may say, I've made these for 20 years and I made this variation just for this book so you can make it at home. Or I call these Cooties coconut cookies because my friend Kim has cooties and this is her recipe. Or we call these burning butt burritos because when you eat them, your butt's going to be on fire. Like, kind of tell me why you're giving me that quirky name. I don't want to be left in a mystery about burning butt burritos. You know what I'm saying? That's going to be the part I take from this and put on Instagram to promote this episode. I don't want to be left wondering why they're burning butt burritos. Tell me. Apricot and almond tea cookies, Auntie Bonnie's bread cookies. Huh. Okay, it says either Hamish or Comish bread cookies. The font in this is a little confusing with H's and K's, which is a little difficult sometimes. Auntie Bonnie's Hamish? Hamish? These cookies are a Kramer family favorite that we've adopted. They freeze well and are great for tea parties or munching when you're feeling nibbly. Is there anything ham-like in it? No. There's coconut, almonds. Oh, no. Again, I don't know why it's called Hamish or Camish. I think it's Hamish. And I want to say like Hamish then? Hamish? Is this a word that I'm not understanding? It's Hamish. I'm looking it up now. Scottish name that means supplanter or one who takes the place of another. Hamish is a boy's name of Scottish origin and variant of the Irish name Seamus. So I don't know. Okay. Hot water pie crust, sourdough pie crust, graham cracker crust, and rolled oat pie crust, amazing apple pie, perfect pumpkin pie, creamy coconut pie, chocolate bourbon pecan pie. Again, everybody, those 4 pie recipes are on 2 pages. So you've got ingredient lists that maybe total up to 8 ingredients or so at the most, and then 1 to 2 paragraphs that are giving you your instructions. I'm all on board for that. Chocolate banana no bake pie, angelic apple, crisp apple cinnamon matzo kugel. See, now that's where that kugel, the K looks like an H. Anyways, you guys don't need to hear me go on and on about this. So could that have been Camish? Does that mean something? If I go back to Auntie Bonnie's Camish bread cookies. Okay, let's look up if Camish bread cookies are a thing. Camish. Oh, it is. Okay, we got to the bottom of this. Okay. Okay. It's maybe a Yiddish word. With a number of variant spellings and called Mandel bread or Kamish in English-speaking countries, and Kamish brat in Ukraine, a type of cookie found in Ashkenazi Jewish cuisine and popular amongst Eastern European Jews. Kamish, that is the word that we were looking for. Kamish bread cookies, they're a thing. So they're Auntie Bonnie's Kamish bread cookies. We did it. We did it. Thank you, everybody, for sticking with me for that. I'm glad we got to the bottom of that because you know what? No reason not to know something. We got apple cinnamon matzo kugel, chocolate cheesecake, pineapple cheesecake, Jen's chocolate cake, Auntie Bonnie's wacky cake. I love that. I bet everything goes into a bowl and then into a pan. Yep. We got flour, cocoa, baking powder, baking soda, salt. It says cup dry sweetener. So sugar, or maybe you're using monk fruit sweetener these days. You could use that. Vanilla extract, vinegar, oil, and cold water. I will say that this book is not specific when it comes to it will say 5 tablespoons oil. I'm going to use vegetable or canola oil in a cake. I know to do that, but I don't think everybody knows to do that. So that's a little bit of a missed opportunity in here to really guide the cook, I think. But maybe they give some sort of generic basic talk about oils in the front of the book in the ingredient section. Everyone, I always kind of skip over the intro and ingredient section. Let me tell you why. Because it's almost the same in every single book. When we look at these books, someone who just gets that book, who's new to being vegan, is going to pour over that intro and ingredient section and just be probably given so much great information that they didn't have before. But since this is a podcast based on plant-based cookbooks, it would be really silly for me to go over that intro every single book because I'm not joking. A lot of them are exactly the same, just worded differently, right? Speaking of someone who has written those same intros in their books, we're all just educating someone who may be picking up a vegan cookbook for the first time. So we want to talk about, the ingredients that might be new to them. But if you've been listening to the podcast for a while, it's not new to you. And also, if you're new listening to this podcast and you want to buy a book I'm talking about, you're going to get that intro. You're going to see it. You're going to read it. And you're going to hone in on those basic ingredients that might be new to you. So that's why it gets glossed over. So maybe they talk about oil in the beginning. But anyway, we got some other great stuff in here. Listen, vanilla cake, lemon cake. I just can't believe all of these great basic fundamental options in here. Country carrot cake, chocolate upside down pudding cake, chocolate icing, coffee icing, nut butter icing, maybe maple butter-esque icing, it says. Marvelous maple icing. Anything goes icing. It says a versatile classic. Vary the color for each occasion. So, And it's got margarine, powdered sugar, soy milk, and then it says 1 teaspoon, anything goes, lemon, peppermint, or maple extract, whatever you want. Soy milk, whipped cream. And you thought you'd never get to eat anything this scrumptious again, it says. So it's got soy milk, dried sweetener, vanilla. Actually, it doesn't say dried sweetener. This is another missed spot for me. It says 2 to 4 tablespoons sweetener. Or do you mean agave maple syrup sweetener, or do you mean dry sugar? Or cane sugar? What should I be doing here? So it says in a blender or food processor, blend together milk, sweetener, vanilla, and cornstarch. Slowly drizzle in the oil while the blender is running. Blend until smooth and creamy. Chill for 1 hour before using. Makes approximately 3/4 cup. I actually want to try this and see how it goes. Because I got to tell you, Even like I love the Soy Delicious whipped cream that you buy. Like we love it, love it, love it, love it. But the downfall of that is once you take it out of the freezer and take it out to thaw and use it, you kind of have to use it all right then, because once it thaws, even in the fridge, it's not really like holding its shape for a while. You got to use it all. So I've taken to like kind of like freezing it, and then even when it's frozen, I scoop out like a quarter of the tub and just put that in the fridge to thaw, and then we just use that. So I'm not like wasting the whole tub or bring it all out, and then I feel like I got to eat it all, which trust me is no problem. I am happy to eat a full tub of So Delicious whipped cream because I love it. But I also want to have it around for those occasions that I need with pie or cake or ice cream or whatever, right? So I don't want to eat it all in one setting. So I'm curious to test this soy milk whipped cream and see how it does. We got a tofu whipped cream, a banana rama cream, cashew cream, fresh fruit sauce, simple chocolate pudding, creamy banana pudding, anything goes, fruit pudding, racy raisin rice pudding, chocolate ice cream, vanilla banana ice cream, anything goes, fruity ice cream. So that's another variation where you can kind of do your fruit of choice, coffee ice cream, and then it says vegan odds and sods to end this book out here. We got flax eggs, soy milk mayonnaise, tofu mayonnaise, faux sour cream, classic ketchup, which again, the K and the H in this font looks the same. So I was reading this as classic ketchup, but it's classic ketchup spelled with a K. Crispy croutons, versatile vegetable stock, Cajun spice. Oh my gosh, you guys, again, versatile vegetable stock. I was reading stock as stotch because of that KH conundrum I'm in. Balsamic onions, faux Parmesan cheese that's made with sesame seeds, yeast, nutritional yeast, and salt. So kind of the same variation of like a nut Parmesan we've been doing now for some time. So I love that this is, in this book, 2009, 1999, if you think of it when it first came out, which is just like, wow, 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 wow. We have a faux feta in here using tofu as the base, baked sesame fries. What? Potato, olive oil, and it says 2 tablespoons gomashio, which is a simple yet wonderful Japanese condiment, very addictive and satisfying. Use it as a topping for any recipe or in place of salt on cooked vegetables or in salads. It's sesame seeds, sea salt, and kelp powder. Ooh, I bet that is delicious. We have dry roasted soy snacks. That's using dry soybeans, chickpea nibbles, original pepper tofu jerky, Cajun jerky, Hawaiian jerky. Do you hear of all these things that are in here? And just when you thought that we were closing things out, no, friends, I even missed this. We've got a section called vegan kids stuff. It's got tips for feeding kids, from not forbidding them any foods and how much to eat and what to eat, and teach them how to love their vegetables. A couple fun things for them to do in here. There's a recipe for Play-Doh in here, and a recipe in here for making ornaments, paper mache, bubble solution. So lots of fun things for kids. We got snacks too, like melon bowls, ants on a log, ants on a raft. What's a raft? Crackers. Oh, instead of celery. Drowning ants, a bowl of yogurt with raisins, apple volcano, banana cream pie, ice cream cookies, maple apple dip. So lots of different fun things in here for kids, including things with vegetables like a nutty broccoli and alphabet lentils, vegetables in a blanket. Oh, we're gonna roll. We're not putting it. Oh, we're putting it in tortillas. Very smart. Very smart. So lots of fun, different things to do. Orange sickles, smoothie ice pops, juice popsicles. That's great. Even a section that ends this talking about feeding kids on the road, foods to pack for an outing or a trip, like dried apricots, fruit leathers, small juice boxes, small soy milk boxes. Lots of fun stuff in here. And then this might be our last section. I could be wrong because I keep getting surprised, but this one is called Vegan House and Home. So wow, it goes through. So this goes along with my home apothecary wish, right? Because it goes through different things, DIY things for household cleaners, like all-purpose cleaner, deodorizer, removing crayon marks, removing grease spots, removing scratches, laundry starch, oven cleaner, toilet bowl cleaner, glass cleaner. Oh, that's amazing. Then there's a 2-page list that says 44 things to do with vinegar. You can kill weeds. You can kill unwanted grass, polish car chrome, clean the microwave, dissolve rust from bolts and other metals. So lots of things in here to do with vinegar. Health and beauty products. We're looking at makeup remover, skin cleanser, face cleanser, parsley skin toner, lemon toner, green goddess mask, hot Mediterranean mama mask, cucumber lemon mask. So lots of different variations of mask in here. Toothpaste from scratch, body scrubs from scratch, lip gloss, perfume. This is wild. Massage oil, all purpose salve, peppermint itch lotion, soothing sunburn lotion. Man, they were busy. This is busy. For $19.99, they are giving you more than an all-purpose cookbook here. They just gave you Sephora in the back of the book. This is wild. And you're not going to believe it, but maybe you will, because we've been wowed by this book, if you ask me. Animal treats in the back of the book. So next we get dog and cat biscuits, carob chip oatmeal crunchies, cornmeal crunchies, dog biscuits, bad breath dog biscuits, flea busters. Here are some ideas to prevent those nasty fleas, and these are home remedies for that. And that, my friends, closes out the book. What a journey through how it all began. Irresistible Recipes for an Animal-Free Diet by Tanya Barnard and Sarah Kramer. Man, I hope that y'all will check this out. And don't forget to go to Sarah's website, govegan.net. You can find out where to keep up with her on there, from Instagram to Facebook and anywhere else that she is. But this is really a fantastic book. I'm glad I went through it. I'm excited to make those peppermint patties. You know that. And it was nice to lean into some of the headers had a little more information. We found out who Aunt Bonnie was in there. And I love a book too that's got some contributions from friends. It just, food is community, and I love seeing it come together in a book like this. And this book, I mean, I didn't have it in my hands at the time, but what a trailblazer. 1999. I just think that's so cool. So listen, y'all, thanks for joining me for some stories behind the recipes in this episode of Keep on Cooking, and looking over how it all began with me. I will hopefully not see you here next week, but I'll talk at you. So come back again. You hear? Keep on cooking, and remember, it's nice to be nice.
Thank you so much for listening. We'd be so grateful if you would rate, review, and subscribe wherever you're listening to this podcast. It really does help us.
Yes, thank you so much. And don't forget to check out keeponcooking.com for all of the latest in recipes and Keep On Cooking updates. This has been a Muzzy Cat production.